If you think the wilderness today is dangerous, you wouldn't last 5 minutes in the Ice Age. This was a merciless world where humans weren't the masters of the earth. We were just another item on the menu. From a bear that runs as fast as a racehorse to a real-life dragon with toxic saliva, the rules of nature were rewritten by giants. Buckle up, because we are traveling back in time to face the 6 deadliest predators that ever lived. And trust me, you are lucky they are extinct.
Number 1. The 40 miles per hour nightmare.
It ends with a silence louder than the scream. A wooden spear, shattered in 2, lies half buried in the crimson-stained snow of the Pleistocene. This was not a battle, it was an execution. 11,000 years ago, North America was a prison of ice, and survival demanded size. But one beast evolved to break the rules of physics. It did not ambush from the shadows, it ran its prey down with the stamina of a wolf and the brute force of a freight train. Speed was the only currency that mattered, and this monster had more of it than anything else on the continent. Enter Arctidus simus, the giant, short-faced bear. If you think you know what a bear looks like, erase that image. This is not the heavy, low-slung grizzly we know today. This monster stands nearly 6 feet tall at the shoulder while on all fours. When it rears up, it towers over 12 feet high, able to look into a second-story window. It weighs over 2,500 pounds. It is the largest mammalian carnivore to ever walk on land. But it is not the weight that terrifies, it is the design. Look closely at its anatomy. Its legs are disproportionately long and slender. Its toes point straight forward, unlike the pigeon-toed gait of modern bears. This animal was a biological pursuit predator. It could maintain speeds of 40 miles per hour, not for a sprint, but for miles without tiring. Imagine a racehorse with the jaws of a hyena. There is no climbing a tree to escape it. There is no outrunning it. If Arctidus saw you across the tundra, you were already a ghost.
For decades, scientists argued if it was a hunter or a scavenger. The answer is terrifying. It was both. This beast was so massive that it could simply walk up to a pack of direwolves or a saber-toothed cat and take their kill without a fight. It used its sheer size as a weapon of psychological warfare. In the ruthless economy of the Ice Age, the short-faced bear was the tax collector. It took what it wanted, when it wanted, and no one dared to challenge the king. Its snout, short and broad, functioned like a hydraulic bolt cutter. The muscle attachments on its skull suggest a bite force strong enough to crush the femur of a bison like a dry twig. It didn't need to suffocate its prey by the throat like a cat, it simply shattered them. The terror this animal inspired in early humans must have been absolute. It was the monster in the dark that was faster than you, stronger than you, and always hungry. But even giants fall. As the ice melted and the open plains turned into dense forests, the running bear lost its advantage. It starved in a changing world. But as the king of the plains faded, the forests birthed a new nightmare. A predator that didn't rely on size, but on silence. A killer armed with 2 7-inch knives growing from its mouth that could slice through the jugular of a mammoth in a fraction of a second. The brute is gone. Now we meet the assassin.
Number 2. The human assassin.
The short-faced bear was a blunt instrument. This creature is a scalpel. Hidden in the tall, golden grass of Pleistocene California, nothing moves. The wind holds its breath. A Colombian mammoth calf strays just a few feet from its mother. In a heartbeat, the silence shatters. There is no long chase. There is only a blur of tawny fur, a sudden tackle, and a single, precise bite to the throat. By the time the mother turns, the blood is already spilling. The assassin has struck. Cyblodon fatalis, the most famous silhouette of the Ice Age. Its defining feature creates a paradox. 2 serrated canines, 7 inches long, curving like scimitars from its upper jaw. But these weapons are not for crushing bone. They are fragile. If they hit a vertebrae, they snap. This dictates how the cat kills. It is not a brawler, it is a surgeon. It uses its teeth only at the very last second to sever the trachea and jugular vein, turning off the lights in moments. Because its teeth are brittle, the rest of its body is built for absolute dominance. Compare it to a modern lion, and the lion looks like a marathon runner. The Saber-Tooth is a bodybuilder on steroids. It has an oversized chest, massive neck muscles, and forelimbs thick enough to wrestle a 2-ton bison to the ground and hold it perfectly still. It has to. It must immobilize the prey completely before it can deploy those teeth. It is the ultimate grappler of the ancient world. We know more about Saber-Tooth than almost any other prehistoric predator, thanks to a deadly mistake they kept making. In what is now Los Angeles, sticky pools of natural asphalt bubbled up from the ground. It trapped prey, which then attracted the cats. Thousands of them plunged into the tar to get an easy meal, only to become the meal themselves. The La Brea tar pits became a graveyard preserved in time, holding the bones of over 2,000 individual cats. But the tar revealed a secret. Many of the bones found there show signs of terrible injuries, broken hips, shattered legs that had fully healed. In the wild, a crippled predator starves in weeks. The only way these cats survived long enough to heal is if they had help. This suggests something profound. They were social. They lived in prides. They fed their wounded. Beneath the terrifying exterior of a monster lay the heart of a family that looked after its own. Saber-Tooth was the heavy infantry of the Ice Age, designed to take down giants. But dominance attracts rivals. While the saber-tooth relied on family, another predator relied on an army. They were not the biggest, nor the strongest, but they were never alone. A new sound rises over the horizon, not a roar, but a synchronized howl. The cats ruled the ambush, but the night belongs to the swarm.
Number 3. The bone-crashing horde.
The Smilodon strikes once and kills. The direwolf does not grant you that mercy. They do not hunt as individuals, they hunt as a flood. Imagine the silence of the night broken not by one howl, but by 50. They pour over the hills like a gray landslide. A bison stands its ground, horns lowered, but it doesn't matter. They attack from every angle simultaneously. There is no strategy of stealth here. This is attrition. They bite, they tear, and they bleed their prey until it simply collapses from exhaustion. For a long time, we thought they were just larger gray wolves. We were wrong. Genetic studies from 2021 revealed they are a distinct lineage that separated millions of years ago. Anoscion dirus, the fearsome dog. They were heavier, with thicker bones and broader skulls than modern wolves. They were not built for long-distance marathon running. They were built for the brawl. They didn't dance around their prey, they crashed into it. Their teeth tell a brutal story. Fossils show extreme wear and breakage, far more than any modern canid. This implies one thing: they crunched through bone. When the meat was gone, they ate the skeleton. Their bite force was 30% stronger than a gray wolf's, enough to shatter a femur to get to the marrow inside. In the starving winters of the Pleistocene, they left nothing behind. If a pack of dire wolves found you, there wouldn't even be a body left to bury. Their greatest strength, their numbers, was also their fatal flaw. In the La Brea tar pits, they are the most common fossil found, with over 4,000 individuals recovered. Why? Because when one wolf got trapped in the asphalt, the pack didn't run away. They heard the distress calls and came to feed or to help, and one by one, the black oil swallowed the entire family. A tragedy of loyalty and hunger frozen in time. They were the most successful predator of the era. while the short-faced bear ruled by size and the saber-tooth by precision, the direwolf ruled by ubiquity. They were everywhere. They could bully a saber-tooth off a kill simply by showing up. They dominated the landscape from Canada to Bolivia. They were the ultimate survivors, adaptable and ruthless. But they relied on big game, and when the big game vanished, the swarm starved. The wolves, the bears, and the cats were the lords of the North American plains. But the Ice Age was global, and in the isolated continent of Australia, evolution was taking a darker, reptilian turn. The mammals here were large, yes, but they were being hunted by a dragon, a cold-blooded monitor lizard twice the length of a crocodile, with venom in its mouth and claws that could disembowel a cow. The mammals had their era. Now we enter the age of the reptile king.
Number 4. The real-life dragon. While the North froze under mile-high glaciers, the southern continent of Australia burned. Here, the Ice Age did not bring snow. It brought drought, dust, and fire. In this isolated laboratory of evolution, mammals grew large, but reptiles grew into nightmares. Walking through the dry scrubland of the Pleistocene outback is risky. The silence here is heavy. The ground vibrates slightly, not from a herd, but from the footsteps of a single cold-blooded giant. This is Megalania, the largest terrestrial lizard to ever exist. Imagine a Komodo dragon, but scale it up until it is 23 feet long and weighs over 4,000 pounds. It is heavier than a hippopotamus and twice the length of a saltwater crocodile. When it raises its head, it looks a grown man in the eye. It is the absolute ruler of the continent of Sahul. It doesn't need to hunt in packs. It is a one-animal army. For years, paleontologists believed it killed like a lion by suffocation. They were wrong. Like its modern cousin, the Komodo dragon, Megalania carried a chemical weapon in its jaw. Between its serrated, curved teeth lay glands that secreted a complex hemotoxic venom. One bite is all it takes. The venom prevents blood from clotting and sends the prey into shock. It doesn't need to overpower you immediately. It just needs to nip you once and then calmly follow the trail of blood until you collapse. Its prey matched its size. It hunted the Diprotodon, a wombat the size of a monster truck. Fossil evidence suggests Megalania was an ambush predator, lying perfectly still in the scrub for days, its metabolism slowed to a crawl, waiting for a shadow to pass. When it struck, it moved with a terrifying burst of explosive speed, hitting its target with the force of a battering ram. Humans arrived in Australia roughly 65,000 years ago. They had to share the land with this dragon. Aboriginal oral history speaks of giant lizards that ate people whole. It is a primal fear etched into the human DNA. Megalania had no natural enemies. It was the apex of the apex, a relic of the dinosaur age that refused to die, ruling the southern hemisphere with a cold reptilian stare. But as the climate shifted and the megafauna died out, the dragon starved. The age of the giant reptile ended. Yet across the ocean, in the isolate island continent of South America, evolution was running another twisted experiment. It created a creature that defied the laws of nature, a bird that forgot how to fly and learned how to butcher. It stands 10 feet tall, runs as fast as a cheetah, and has a beak that can crush a skull like a walnut. The skies are empty, but the ground is full of feathers and blood.
Number 5. The dinosaur that never died.
We are told that the asteroid killed the dinosaurs 66 million years ago. We are told they vanished. But on the isolated island continent of South America, the dinosaurs didn't die. They just evolved feathers. In the tall pampas grass, a strange head pops up. a beak shaped like an eagle's, but the size of a human torso. It spots a grazing macrochinia. The bird doesn't fly, it charges. It hits speeds of 45 miles per hour. It catches the prey not with claws, but with a downward stroke of its beak, driving the hooked tip into the skull like a pickaxe. Instant death. This is Phorus rhacos, the terror bird. For millions of years, South America was cut off from the rest of the world. In the absence of large mammalian carnivores, the birds reclaimed the throne. Standing over 8 feet tall and weighing nearly 300 pounds, this was the apex predator of its world. It is a terrifying reminder that mammals were not always the rulers of the earth. We were once just food for the birds. Its primary weapon was a masterpiece of biological engineering. Its skull was 2 feet long, but narrow and hollow to reduce weight. It wasn't designed to bite and hold like a wolf. It was designed to strike and retract. The neck muscles were incredibly powerful, allowing the bird to drive its beak downward with the force of a falling guillotine. It was a hit-and-run specialist. It delivered a fatal blow to the spine or brain, then stepped back to watch its victim die. Look at its feet. They are the feet of a velociraptor. 3 massive toes tipped with curved talons. While the beak did the killing, the feet did the pinning. If the initial strike didn't kill you, the terror bird would kick you with enough force to shatter your ribs, pinning you to the ground while it prepared for the final strike. It combined the agility of an ostrich with the aggression of a T-Rex. We don't know for sure what sound they made, but looking at their closest living relatives, the Seriemas, suggests it wasn't a screech. It was a low-frequency growl that vibrated in your chest, followed by a high-pitched barking scream. Imagine hearing that sound coming from the tall grass, unable to see where it is coming from, knowing that the source is taller than you and faster than you. In the hierarchy of the Ice Age, the terror bird was the stuff of nightmares. The terror bird was a glass cannon, fast, lethal, but fragile. If it fell, its hollow bones would break. But there was another creature in the Americas that traded speed for invincibility. A beast so large it didn't need to run. It didn't hunt, but it was far from harmless. It was a mountain of fur and muscle, with claws the size of butcher knives that could disembowel a saber-toothed cat with a casual swipe. The predator is scary, but the giant you cannot hurt is worse.
Number 6. The unstoppable living tank.
We often picture them as gentle giants lumbering peacefully through the snow. We are wrong. Startle a 6-ton bull in must, and you face the wrath of a living bulldozer. The ground vibrates rhythmically. A human hunter stands frozen, realizing his mistake too late. Out of the blizzard comes a wall of fur and muscle moving at 25 miles per hour. There is no roar, just the terrifying sound of snapping trees and the thud of impact. The hunter is not eaten, he is simply erased. Mammothus primigenius, the icon of the Ice Age. But look past the shaggy coat and focus on the weapons. Their tusks were not just for clearing snow to find grass. They were curved spears of solid ivory, spiraling up to 15 feet in length. In a fight, a mammoth didn't just stab, it swept its head side to side. Those tusks could bludgeon a pack of wolves or toss a saber-toothed cat 20 feet into the air with a single neck rotation. They were built for a world that tried to freeze them to death every single night. Layers of fat 4 inches thick, a coat of long guard hairs covering a dense wool undercoat, small ears to prevent frostbite. This biological armor made them nearly invulnerable to the smaller predators of the era. A spear thrown by a human often just tangled in the wool or stopped in the fat. To kill one was not a hunt, it was a siege. Their greatest danger lay in their mind. They were highly intelligent and fiercely emotional. If you threatened a calf, you didn't fight the mother, you fought the herd.
They formed an impenetrable defensive ring, a phalanx of tusks pointing outward. They remembered specific threats for years. If a tribe of humans killed a member of the herd, the survivors would sometimes counterattack the camp. In the frozen north, the mammoth was not the prey, it was the king. The extinction of the mammoth was not a quiet event, it was a war. As the climate warmed, their habitat shrank, forcing them into conflict with the expanding human population. We find sites with thousands of bones built into huts. Humans didn't just survive the mammoth, we built our civilization on their bones. But the cost was high. For every successful kill, how many hunters were crushed underfoot? The bear, the cat, the wolf, the lizard, the terror bird, and the mammoth. They were the titans that sharpened the human race. We are the survivors of the most dangerous zoo in history. The ice melted, the grass died, and the giants vanished into the mist of time. But listen closely to the wind in the frozen tundra, and you can still hear the echo of their footsteps. The monsters are gone. We are what remains. It is a terrifying miracle that our ancestors managed to survive these monsters long enough for us to be here today. The ice has melted and the giants have turned to dust, but looking at the sheer power of these beasts, you have to ask yourself, which one would you be most afraid to meet in the dark? Let me know in the comments below. If you want to uncover more prehistoric nightmares hidden in history, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because we are just getting started.